the category of cosmetic procedures is one that I think is somewhat fraught with taboo, and people are scared to speak about it openly. How is that changing? Why is that changing? And what will that look like in 10 years? And if that discourse changes, what does that mean for everybody?
Yeah, it's so funny. We were chatting about this just this week to say, you used to, and I don't know if you've ever done services, but you used to go out for dinner with your friends and family, and you used to whisper like under the napkin that, someone said, "You look so good. Like, what creams are you using?" And you either lied and said, "Oh, I just bought this new XXX cream," or you whispered under your napkin, "Oh, I had Botox." And now it's like, who do you go to and where do you get it? And what is it doing? And mine did this and mine did that. I went to a dinner and men and women and everybody at the table had a version of cosmetic dermatology. And I was cracking up because the whole conversation, everybody was out of the closet and everybody was talking about it. And I thought to myself, like, this is the reason why I'm here, because the stigma associated with a lot of these services it's dwindling. It's definitely shrinking as this concept of looking good and feeling good gets more virality and acceptance.
When you think about an industry like cosmetic dermatology, it's very fragmented, it's very big, and it's kind of a tech laggard industry. From your perspective as an insider, like, why was it so slow and so late and so kind of allergic to adopting the kind of technology that every other industry seemed to adopt so rapidly over the course of the last 2 decades?
I think for the most part, it was a doctor-driven individual service industry. So a doctor on the Upper East Side or in Dallas opened a cosmetic derm office and had 1, maybe 2 or 3 locations in that particular city. And that's really what the story looks like. On the other side of it, you had med spas that were just catering to a multitude of different services, not a great deal of expertise, and the value proposition wasn't really there. It was really focused on being lower priced and deal driven. And so the industry is really fragmented in that you have doctors' offices with sort of best in class practitioners and very expensive. And then you have on the other side of it, sort of the Groupon, class fast driven medi spas, which are not branded and not necessarily focused on expertise, innovation, and having doctors as a part of their network. And enter Everbody, who is sort of the intersection of the best of both worlds, but also bringing this tech heartbeat to it that makes it a very modern business. And then the final part of it is innovation and services. So aside from having technology that fuels customer demand and customer experience, we also are very focused on high-tech services. The high-tech services traditionally have been very expensive and exclusively offered at doctors' offices. They are very expensive items to purchase, and we've integrated it into our model, and we will be offering services like M-Sculpt and True Sculpt and Morpheus 8 in our locations at prices that are anywhere from 20 to 30% less than the traditional doctor's office.
And from the customer's perspective, kind of from the customer journey, how that translates for them, how is that different if you looked at the kind of the lifetime of a customer and your experience with, an Everbody patient? Like, how does that translate, and what are the touch points that you will maintain with that patient over time?
If you think about a doctor's offices, they're not using paid media to acquire customers. They're using the virality of customers who are talking about it to their friends. And if you think about med spas, they're using deals and email to acquire customers and friends and family, and even things like ClassPass and Groupon. So we approach the industry from a tech perspective, which is acquire customers through growth marketing. So they come into our funnel and we can see every single step along the way, so we can see where they come into the funnel, what holds them back, what they go to first, and what they click on to actually book an appointment for. And with most cosmetic derm offices, you have to have a consultation to figure out what you want, but we use technology to educate you, and then you can pick the service that you want and go right into booking an appointment. Once you've booked an appointment with us, you are now part of our personalized technology system. And we can begin to have a CRM journey with you that includes a 360 approach to your service needs. So we personalize it to each individual. We have a portal for the client and a portal for the provider. Ultimately, we see the opportunity for communication to take place there. It's not up and live yet, but it will be in the next couple of months, where you'll actually be able to you can do a virtual consultation and a virtual appointment now, but we want it to be in real time. So let's just say you had Botox and you think that you may need it again. You could take a picture of yourself, upload it, and one of our practitioners can take a look and say, actually, you have another couple of weeks before you need another appointment, or maybe you should come back in and get a little touch up, and many other different ways that we'll be able to integrate with our clients through this very highly engaged and personalized experience.
What are some of those misconceptions, and how does your relationship with a patient kind of disabuse them of just notions they have that are wrong, right? About what it means to engage in any kind of cosmetic dermatology procedure?
I mean, I think when people hear it, very often they think in their minds that they're going to come out with, really big lips and, protruding cheekbones, and they're not going to look like themselves. And I would imagine, obviously, we know there are people out there that do that to themselves, but it's the antithesis of what we offer. We focus on natural looking results to enhance, what you look like and make you look like you just had a really good night's sleep. And I think that is a misconception, is that if you want cosmetic dermatology, you have to want to look like that. It's so not true. You can look like just a slightly better version of yourself, or a slightly more well-rested version of yourself. The other misconception out there is that it's expensive, but our thesis is the fact that we can provide these services at a great price with the right clientele, and focus on things that perhaps a doctor's office isn't focused on. We're open 7 days a week. We're open from early in the morning until late in the day. You can access us digitally, so you don't have to worry. Sometimes, people don't want to come in for their checkup in person. No problem, we can do it virtually with you. And I would say the last thing is, if you don't go to a doctor, then you're going to get botched. And certainly there's a television show about how it can go wrong. And I think that's fostered in communities. And I think, finding the right person is really important. So our focus is on education and expertise. And I'm fortunate to say, knocking on wood, we haven't had any issues with clients, and our focus is to not have any issues with clients. One of the things that we're really focused on is our Everbody University, to ensure that anybody that's working for us has gone through our training program.